Hey, this is the Hamlet creative film interpretation video. So for the assignment details, step one is that you had to select the moment. The moment I chose was right after the to be or not to be soliloquy. I want to do this at first for obvious reasons. It's a super famous soliloquy and for good reason. It's impactful, it's important, and its message resonates with most readers or listeners. I thought it'd be fun to do what happens right afterward for a more unique look inside the story by beginning my section where the most famous part of the whole play ends. Step two is obviously creating my vision, right? So my vision, I feel, is something which is pretty fun and unique. I've come to learn in the past couple of years that Shakespeare is not meant to be read. Of course, we read it anyway, but it's definitely not meant to be read. This opinion was solidified for me during Miss Mraz's English class. Thanks, Miss Mraz. When we were listening to real actors playing out the scenes on the Google Meets. This made the whole thing a lot more bearable and surprisingly actually easier to understand. It's probably because, the emotional inflections put into the speech, but it could also be because it's easier for me to stay focused when hearing phrases that are semi-coherent as opposed to reading these old Shakespearean phrases which become super difficult to understand if you don't actually take time to think twice about them. Listening to actors do their thing on an audio file will never be better than hearing them in person. I recognize that, and because of that made it my mission to try to semi-recreate a shabby digital version of the theater experience. I did this by dynamically panning individual audio files to be more prominent on correlating sides of the headphones depending on where I think the actor would be in real life. I also added customized reverberation to their voices to emulate like the fullness of a theater, as well as I used an equalizer to remove harsh sounding frequencies that were picked up by the mic in order to give it a more human feel. Obviously, it's going to pick up bad stuff, not going to sound good. As for this universe's version of Hamlet, I wanted all characters to be young adults/teenagers. This is because Hamlet acts incredibly childish for his age, and he's so whiny and anger-driven that he's probably best portrayed as an angsty teen, in my opinion. I wanted it to be set in the modern day, and I wanted to include a rap song by Hamlet himself because I think that it would really help get across the emotions he's feeling in an efficient way, and it also fits with the character really well. An emotional teenager in the modern age that makes a rap song about being mad or sad or whatever. This is a story that's becoming more and more common every day, and it also really fits with the character I've created for him. Step three is describing your scenario details. So you gotta talk about like the cast, the setting, the costumes, all that. So for cast, I'd like the actors who play these characters to present themselves as incredibly sleazy. I find Hamlet's character to be very unlikable, sorry, but it's true, and almost all of his inherent traits are negative and harmful to those he surrounds himself with. Because of this, I decided that showing him in his royal status was probably not the best way to portray Hamlet as a character. And so, finding bottom of the barrel, horrible looking people, as bad as it sounds, seems to probably be something rather fit for someone like this. As for setting, where does it take place, obviously? The setting for the following experience that you'll be having today is in a theater. You'll be in a crowd watching Hamlet, so it's kind of meta like that. On the stage, though, this setting will be South London. It's a wretched hive of scum and villainy. Choosing a location was something that took me a while, but after drawing inspiration from the emotional lyrics of UK drill rap, and the unique makeup I saw in some fine British women, I knew immediately where this had to take place. For a Canadian viewer, like from our North American standpoint, somewhere like Detroit or Winnipeg, it's far too domestic for a play like Hamlet, and something more foreign, I believe, is definitely required. And so I think the United Kingdom is a perfect mix of familiar and unfamiliar, and I think South London is the epitome of this. For costumes, obviously costumes are important, and so I think for the characters that I've created for them is that either cheap, horrible clothing in a severe state of disarray with stains and tears on it is pretty good, or something that's way too nice. So some characters will be in horrible stuff, and some will be in stuff that's way too nice that they cannot logically justify owning. Doesn't mean it has to look nice, but it just has to be, I guess, very, very, very expensive, or very, it doesn't have to go well together. Luckily, the characters will not be very logical people. This is all obviously described by the atmosphere. They're gonna be poorly dressed, brashly spoken, and instead of sticking to the original script exactly, certain phrases will obviously be simplified, and modern slang will be thrown in here and there. Certain points of the plot will even be different, and as you'll see soon, where instead of love letters, Ophelia presents Hamlet with a bunch of CDs that he's made for it with rap music on it. yeah, so obviously this is all just tying back to, Hamlet is a horrible person. I don't think royalty suits him very well, and so he's not going to be royalty in this Jacob Solomon rendition. Step 4, you have to talk about the visual component. So as we talked about in class, the visual component of me is actually an audio component, which I've already talked about too, but I'm going to be having an audio component and a visual component, and my visual component is going to be the album cover by Hamlet, which you'll see very soon. That's kind of spoilers, but I gotta say it. It consists of, it's got a stage name over top of a skull with a crown on top of it. It kind of signifies his mortality and his royalty. Not kind of, it does. And skulls are also a super prominent recurring symbol throughout the play. Hamlet holds one in his most famous soliloquy, to be or not to be. And embedded in the text is what looks to be kind of like artificial wear and tear, dirt marks, which is actually super popular these days. You don't want it all clean these days. It's hip and modern. But upon closer inspection, if you look at it, it's actually another skull. So it's really cool, I find. And it's whispering into the other skulls here, the one wearing the crown. So it's kind of like, it's creating an obvious parallel between, the skull with the crown on it and the ghost that always whispers in Hamlet's ear and gives him advice throughout the entire play. And yeah, without further ado, here's the thing.
This is a headphone experience. Please, put on your headphones now.
With the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment, with disregard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia, nymph in thy orisons, be all my sins remembered.
Hello, my lord. How did your honour for this many a day?
Very well, thank you. Well, shorty.
My lord, I have some mementos of yours that I've been meaning to give back to you for some time now. I pray you now receive them.
No, it wasn't me. I never gave you anything like that.
My lord, you know very well that you did, and you put them in CDs, and you recorded them as rap tracks, and you made album covers, and you did all that. You made them so sweetly written that they made your gifts even more valuable. As made the things more rich, their perfume lost. Take these things again, for to the noble mind. Rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you good?
My lord?
Are you beautiful?
What means your lordship?
I'm just saying that if you're good and beautiful, your goodness should have nothing to do with your beauty.
Right, that's it. You don't appreciate these, I'll just walk away with them. Fine.
Well, do not argue with me. Here, take these mementos, I don't want them. I don't want to keep them, I don't want to see them. You can take them, you can have them.
Oh, my sweet Hamlet. Oh, I will play one of these in memory of him.
Ophelia, are you for really a pain and betrayal? Only thing I'm guaranteeing, if the goals of life to suffer, then I feel like I'm achieving that. Reincarnation better not be real, there's no way I'm repeating that. My mother, acting like a stranger, getting on my nerves, but those around me is some danger. I get this feeling in my bones that some people still linger. Don't make me angry or you'll see my middle finger. Revenge, I need it. If you're in my way, baby, I'll make sure you're pleading. Channel anger through the knife, I'd like to see your blood depleting. That's enough, repeating, look at me, I'm the prince. Yeah, one day I'll be leading. The people of my nation will be happy and good at reading. So look at me, I'm the prince, no I'm not leaving. The madness in the way I move is ever so misleading. I trick the populace and all my peers, but now, yeah, the act is leaking out but still imploding. Wow, yeah, the light is hard to see when there's death around, but when I stare at death, it's the light that's loud. How? Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, all the people that I ever loved went bad. Life ain't really worth it when you down this bad. But life is like a dream when I'm with the homies. That's all it ever was, just a dream from a nap. I ain't never want nothing but to sleep in a lap. My mother's off the table cause she spews too much. Ophelia setting me a trap. And Polonius never been on the table, he's hung up on the rack. It's not that nothing's perfect, it's that perfect isn't real. And when my nation listens, they say, what's the big deal, man? Why is he angry? Why is he upset? Why don't you care, man? What don't you get? Should I move on quick? Like my father said, wife, who I love and I adore, but who's ruined her own life, who I'd shove into a door just to show her what's right. She's stupid. No hope, 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 no hope.